it's me, Nomad here. Today I'm back at the ugly green thing, continuing the operation. So I was able last time to get that big overhang piece out right there, and it turned out the culprit was some mega giant screws. So you can see them now. See, coming out of this piece, there's a couple of them. There's another one there. I had no idea that was the situation at all. So yeah. So anyway, what I'm doing today is basically I'm cleaning. So I'm gonna clean all this out. See all this gook here? I can clean this, make all this nice and clean, and then I'm gonna paint it. I'm not gonna paint it today, but my next operation is that area back there. There's a ton of rotten wood back there that I gotta get to. Yeah, it's a lot of work in here. It looks bad, but it's got potential, man. Somehow I'm gonna have to reverse engineer all the wiring, because there's wiring everywhere and I have no clue where it all goes. I know there's an inverter box that connects to the battery. I know there's a battery that goes here. I have no idea what it goes to, but I'm gonna have to get a voltmeter and a tester and test all this. Really, I mean, it'd be nice if I could just hire an electrician to do it, which I might do. I don't know. So let's see where we are today. Kind of boring, just cleaning. I'm up here cleaning, and plot thickens, man. It's like this thing just gets worse and worse and freaking worse. I mean, I'm telling you, by the time I get to the root, this whole thing's gonna be completely dismantled. I mean, at this rate, you know? So here's what I found out. So I want to put a new piece of wood in here, right? A new overhang over this whole thing, right? Like the one that I pulled off. That's all rotted out and stuff. It's got to be one solid piece of wood, obviously, or it won't support the weight in the middle. So I'm thinking, oh, okay, you know, I'll pull the other one out and I'll get a new one and I'll just slide it in. I assumed falsely that it was slid in from behind, but obviously you see here it goes in what's this, like an inch. It goes in, and there's a metal beam here. I guess this whole thing is like one big metal frame, and then they attach the wood to the metal frame. That would explain why it's so strong in 40 years. But so it obviously slides in here, right? And then these screws hold it in place, these thick screws I showed you. But then check it out, right? Obviously it can't slide in here. It can't come this way. It can only come this way. How can it come this way? There's no place for it to come in. So obviously what happened was that before they put this fiberglass piece here, they slid the wood in, fastened it to this, and then they slid this in. Let me show you what this is. It's this right here. This whole thing is a big piece of fiberglass. This whole thing has to come out. I've got to unscrew it. I've got to unscrew these and these. I got to take this whole thing apart. And then I got to slide the piece in, take this down, slide the piece in like this, and then put it back. You know, how am I going to do this? So, whatever, that's what we have to do, obviously. Unless some genius out there can tell me how to get one solid piece of wood in here without doing that. I don't see how I can do it without removing this. So it doesn't look that hard, actually. There's a screw there, a screw there, and then there's all these little screws fastening it to this piece of metal. So if I just take all these little screws off and take those screws outside off, this whole giant this whole giant piece of fiberglass, which is what this is, should come right on out. And it'll be a big freaking mess. mess. So I guess I need to measure out the piece of wood and get all that ready to go before I do that, obviously. And then I need to do it all in one operation. So, yeah. People are always backing out over here for some reason. Anyway, that's where we are. But I've been cleaning, see? Look, it's so clean now. Even though no one's gonna see this, I still like the idea of it being clean. And then I had to remove this piece of wood here. This comes off. You know, this thing's kind of flimsy. Like once you get to this part, like this stuff, I could just rip this off with my hand. Like it wasn't even nailed in really. So that's what I'm gonna do. Get my gloves back on. So at this point, y'all are like, why are you doing this? Just buy a new one. Go back there. Just buy a new one. Stop. Yeah, I'm like that too at this stage. At this stage, this has become, I don't know what it's become, a passion project. It's just therapy for me or something. I don't even know where those wires go. I mean, they're like wires going everywhere, man. Everywhere. You know? Yeah, another big piece of wood. Go with the other big piece of wood collection. Fit this. Oh, it can go in there. Bunk beds. Wow, I'm gonna get to this thing. I'm gonna win this battle. Now, one good thing is like, see, there's a hole there, but it turns out that when you get the nice solid piece of wood that's here, that's gonna go here, this fastens to that wood. So once I have a good piece of wood in here, I'll be able to screw that and tighten it up, and that will be gone. See, that's what is holding this in. So yeah, that's good. And look, the rot just continues, man. It just never ends. See, more rot. 40 years of rot.